Hello and welcome to the third series of North London TV. I'm Roseanne.
I'm Steve.
North London TV is a social media programme looking to highlight all the best bits of North London. Coming up in today's episode.
So on this episode's big interview, I'm going to El Vaquero to meet Tomer. Then we'll be talking lettings. Then me and Roseanne are at Meat talking about food. And then Layla is in Finchley talking about the local area.
And now it's time for our big interview. And this time Steve went to visit one of our local restaurants in the North London area, El Vaquero, and had a chat with Tomer, one of your favourite places,
Yeah,
Steve.
it's a bit of an institution in North West London.
It is.
It is a great place to gather up with the friends and family. It was good to get down here and have a catch up with Tomer.
Good, well let's see what you both had to say.
Hi, today I'm with Tomer from El Vaquero Mill Hill, and we're going to be discussing a little bit about his business, why he opened up here in Mill Hill, and just how things are.
Well, the business started in the London Equestrian Centre.
Okay, yeah, I know it well.
Which is a farm
Yep.
Up in Mill Hill East.
And when did you move from there to here?
So in 2011 we had an opportunity to move to Mill Hill High Street.
Okay.
This was just the land, there was nothing here. We had to build it from scratch.
Oh wow, okay, I never knew that.
Yeah, we've been trading here from 2012.
And why did you open the first restaurant in Mill Hill? Why North West London? Why did you want to?
We felt like there was a gap in the market for something new, exciting.
Yeah.
This Brazilian sort of thing, there was nothing like this in London. We thought it would be a good business.
So when you talk about the Brazilian idea, what actually is that for people who've been hiding and don't know what it is?
So in Brazil it's called a Rhodesia.
Okay.
It's a Brazilian dining experience. There's no a la carte menu. You literally sit down and drinks order and then you just start. There's a self-service salad bar. We offer different types of cold and hot dishes.
Okay.
That's self-serve, and follow that we offer a selection of meat that's served at the table. Different types of Brazilian meat, different kinds of steaks, like a picanha, which is a top sirloin,
Okay.
leg of lamb, chicken hearts, variety of vegetarian items, and yeah, this keeps coming as you go.
And have you got any good stories about someone who's been here for a long time and eaten everything?
We're the Saracen rugby team here.
Okay.
They used to come in on a Sundays usually after the game, and they've been going for hours.
Because I remember, I don't know if you still do it, a few years ago you did a challenge.
Yeah.
You still do that?
Challenge. Yeah, we do that. You have to book in advance for that. It's a 60-minute challenge. You have to complete roughly around 2.5 kilos of meat. A lot.
And have you had a lot of people complete that?
No.
Anyone complete it?
Almost. Came as close as 2 minutes.
So who are your demographics here? Who are your clientele? What sort of people? People coming from far, or are they mostly locals?
So we get people from all over, really. In the beginning, it was more local. Our main customers are regulars. So we get Edgware, Bushy, Radlett, Mill Hill mainly. And on the weekend, we get people traveling as far as St Albans, Stevenage, literally from everywhere.
So I guess it's quite a nice group meal, isn't it? It's quite nice for birthdays and parties.
Yeah, it is an experience. It is an experience.
Okay. And obviously when you looked at locations, Mill Hill, how do you find being in Mill Hill and obviously being on the high street here? What's the area like?
We're a niche cuisine.
Yeah.
There's nothing like this around here. It's a destination restaurant, but we do get a lot of regular customers.
And what's everyone's favourite bit of meat? What's the most popular?
Well, the chicken paprika is a favorite, chicken teriyaki. It's all home marinade. And the picanha, which is a Brazilian cut, is top sirloin. That's been quite popular for years.
And finish off the pineapple.
The grilled pineapple with the cinnamon and honey, it's always a winner.
So do you do any like family promotions or anything for the kids?
Yeah, so in the week we got this Kids for Free promotion, which is a 6 o'clock bookings, get the first 2 kids for free, and that's quite popular. Every Tuesday, Wednesdays and Thursdays.
Okay. So my little 2.5-year-old could probably eat quite a lot.
We won't charge for it.
Perfect. Lovely, brilliant. Tomer, thank you very much. Back to the studio.
So that was great. So you always talk about me getting the best gigs on this programme, but I think actually this time, I think you struck out there.
Yeah, I did well with the food. I seem to be getting good. I get the food, you get the drink.
That's fine by me. That's fine by me.
It's not so good by my way, so.
Next up, it's Steve with our property feature, this time talking about lettings.
So lettings have changed loads over the last few years. Gone are the days people used to walk in with bundles of cash, pay slips, sometimes real, sometimes fake, bank statements which could have come from anywhere. Nowadays everything's online, and the reverse side of that is landlords now need to be really on point. landlords can't miss things because now online you have to put on your gas safety, your EPC, your electric certificate, and everything you need to make sure that you're doing the right thing as a landlord. And what it's brought in is a better landlord, which brings in a better property. But what's happened over the pandemic is a lot of people who were from Eastern Europe, and obviously in North London there's a lot of demographics of people from that part of the world. A lot of people have gone home and they are now slowly starting to come back. But what that happened to bring was a real lack of good quality tenants. But obviously now that seems to be changing again and the market seems to be recovering. But as a landlord, you need to remember to look after your property and look after your tenants and listen to your estate agent. If the property is not letting, there's a problem. It's either the price, the property, or the agent you're with. You'll work out if it's the property, you'll work out if it's the agent. And if it's none of those, just adjust your price a little bit and you'll find your property gets rented.
So the letting market is still strong even after the pandemic?
Yeah, it's really busy out there at the moment. You know, you're reading out there. I spoke to someone today and people are having 20, 30 people looking at each property. So it's still very busy. Just landlords have to be sensible. You know, if you're sensible with your price and you're sensible with making sure the property's looked after and giving a tenant a good quality of property, then, you know, look, I've always said it, letting's a very simple game, but people make it look hard. So you just need to do the basics correctly as a landlord and as a letting agent. And then you don't have your problems.
And essentially, if you find the right tenant, then you should be...
Well, a good tenant comes from a good property.
Exactly.
You know, and a well-priced property. So you put all your ingredients together and you get the right result. So where are we off to next?
Well, next up, we're back to one of our old favourites, Meat London. And this time, I think we were looking at steak.
Yeah, they let us get to get the good stuff.
They did, they did. Let's see what we found out.
We're back today at Meat London, and today we're talking about steaks, one of my favourites. So Paul, talk us through what we've got here.
Okay, so we've got the so the steaks come from, again, the top of the leg is where you find your rump, and it comes up to the middle of the back. So we have the rump from the top of the leg, and then we move into the sirloin, and then we move into the rib, and I'll explain why we've got two different styles. And on in the inside is the fillet of beef, and again we'll talk about why the fillet is so soft and so tender.
So where should we start?
Well, let's start with the rump. This is a great steak. It's loads and loads of flavour. There's a kind of theory that it takes 8 minutes to cook a steak, and if you want it rare, you cook it a minute on each side and let it rest for 6 minutes. This is where the heat seeps through. And then if you want it well done, you cook it 4 minutes on each side and you eat the steak and everything in between. If you get too thick, it doesn't cook. And by the time you've got to put it in the oven to finish it off, that's not steak anymore. And so this is the key thing. So we want this around about a centimetre thick. We're going to cut down, we push forward, you cut into the steak, and we draw it back. And we let the knife do the work. And there's no tension in the shoulders. And then we come all the way back.
Wow, that looks nice.
So two of those, yeah?
Each.
There you are. That's a beautiful steak. Now, you can see the very deep, dark red colour of this steak. So this has been hung now for 30 days. The idea of aging beef through hanging is that we stretch the sinews and we let the excess liquids drain out. This is very dry, this steak, and will be, you know, intense flavours through there. The next steak up the body is the sirloin.
So this has got like a thick layer of fat on top, hasn't it?
They have the fat on top. You can see as it starts to get older, it gets a little bit grey. And this again is going on 20, 25 days, 30 days aging. This is where we get in. You have the contrefilet and the faux filet in French. You have the porterhouse steak for Americans and things like that. It's all from this piece. It's a delicious steak. The sirloin is a delicious steak.
Is it just me or am I getting really hungry?
Really hungry.
Now on the top of the sirloin, we have the rib, and this is the ribeye. It's one of the most popular.
My favourite.
Well, it's everybody's favourite. It's one of the most popular steaks at the moment. The difference is as we come up through the body, we start to get more fats in it. But we have this thick nut of fat going through the ribeye. It's gelatinous fats. You know, they're delicious and they melt in the pan. If you really don't like that, you don't want it on your plate, you don't like that gelatinous fat, have a sirloin. But you've both said it. This is why it's everybody's favourite steak, because you get that really lovely lump of fat going through it, and it sits on your pan.
And it gives the flavour.
Yeah. Okay, now I'm talking. You haven't done much work.
Oh,
I've shown you how to cut it. Come on, keep your fingers out of the way.
I'm left-handed though.
Okay, we don't do excuses here.
With the big knife.
Yeah.
Okay. Watch out, Steve.
You're coming here.
Back here, well
Whereabouts?
away.
There, just in between the two strings.
Like here?
Yeah, that's good. So push through.
Oh, it's sharp.
And draw back. Push through, draw back. That's it. One
Look
last
at
cut.
that.
Look at that. How's
Well
that?
done.
Very good.
All
Got a
right.
new job.
I have. I'm a butcher. That's great. Do I get to keep that?
Yeah, all right. If you let's see. There you are. Okay.
2 new butchers.
There you go.
2 lovely steaks. All right. We'll
We'll get you back in the middle now.
Yeah.
we'll ask the boys if you can take those out without the alarms going off. There you are.
It's delicious.
2 fantastic steaks.
Beautiful bit of meat.
Now the rib on the bone is fabulous. It's a real showpiece, you know. And this is where you might share a steak with somebody. This is going to be about 1 kilo.
Wow.
Here would be something like around about 1 kilo in weight. It's going to cook beautifully. You can leave it on the grill for 4 or 5 minutes, 6 minutes, and let it rest. And it's going to be medium in the middle. It's the star of the show, you know. And as I say, you're having guests coming for dinner. Exactly the same style, all the way through, drag back, and look at that.
Wow.
That's going to
You
be
cook that a lot thicker.
And then finally,
When we talked about other steaks, you said that, you know, the fat is what gives it
Yes.
the flavour. This is
Yeah.
very lean.
yeah.
So
And-
what makes this...
Well, it's why it has less flavour.
Right.
You know, the people like this because there are no fats in it. It's easy to eat, but it's never going to have as much flavour as the steaks with the fats through them. You're probably looking for about 2.5 minutes on either side,
Yeah.
and then let it rest for 3 or 4 minutes.
Lovely.
It's important to let the steaks rest. You know, when meat cooks, all the bloods, all the juices bubble away. So you take it off and let it rest, and the bubbling stops, and the meat relax, and all the juices relax. And then when you come to eat it, it's going to be soft and full of flavour.
Brilliant.
Delicious.
Okay.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Phil.
This is great. Thanks
You're
for
very
all those
welcome.
tips.
Good.
Back to the studio now.
So I enjoyed that. I've never been totally sure with different cuts of steak and things like
Yeah,
that.
they're really good at making you understand all the different cuts and all the different flavours. All I need to do is teach my wife how not to burn it.
I hear you're quite good on the barbecue though.
I am good at the barbecue. Actually, I did a course there a few years ago.
Did you?
And actually, it was actually quite scary how dangerous I was to giving every one of my friends food poisoning. And actually now I think I can actually cook a barbecue.
Well, I look forward to future
You
invitations.
can keep waiting.
Okay. What's next up?
We are in Finchley, and Layla is going to talk to us about the local area and everything that's wonderful about Finchley.
Finchley Central is best known for being the constituency of Margaret Thatcher. It's a buzzy hub for the wider Finchley areas and it's close to Whetstone and Golders Green. Travel links include the Northern Line Underground and several bus routes. By road, you're on top of the North Circular and the M1. Your local attractions include Victoria Park and Avenue House. You're also moments away from Brent Cross and a huge IKEA. For a 3-bedroom house, it will range between 650 to 1 million. And a 2-bedroom flat would range between 350,000 to 1 million.
So the one thing I like about Finchley Central is that it really is that place in North London that's accessible to everything. You know, you're on top of the North Circular, the M1, you've got Brent Cross, it's...
Oh
know.
wow, we'd almost got through a series that you mentioned Brent Cross. Incredible. Yes, Roseanne, it's close to Brent Cross, as are most things in North West London.
I think before we talk about anything else, let's just wrap things up. So thank you very much for everyone that took part in today's episode. If you're a local business looking to take part in future episodes of North London TV, then please feel free to get in contact with us on the details below.